power, right? And this goes across the board, transcends race and stuff like that. But right, so there's systematic patterns set in place that kind of well, not kind of, that subconsciously plant seeds in our minds that determined our choices, right? And that was a lot of the mind state of a lot of my friends growing up. So there's that. And two, so like when someone slaps you, right, the person that slaps you doesn't get to decide how bad that hurt you, you know? And I feel like with the thing, I'll go back to the thing that happened at Washburn. That exactly happened. The kids who did it, who were white, said that we didn't intend it for it to be a racist incident, so therefore it wasn't a racist incident. But you know, when with that mind state, you know, that again provides a blanket, you know. So yeah, and so like those are the two things. I had a third thing, and I'm trying to remember what it was, and it's gonna come to me as soon as I pass the mic, and that's awesome. So yeah.
You know, I just noticed that everybody, you know, had a great feeling when he, in his poetry, talked about capitalism and how, you know, we all play a part in it. So I'm just wondering, you know, not only should we take feelings, you know, that we're going to use, you know, for each other and breaking down structural racism, but also the fact that, like, where do you spend your money? Do you go to Macy's? Is your money in Wells Fargo? Do you know Wells Fargo owns 90% of over 90% of the bonds for the CCA Group, which is the correctional system here in the United States of America and other countries? Are you going to go shopping at Cub Foods? I haven't eaten at Denny's in over 20 years because they've never apologized. I mean, just, you know, taking it even one step further. What does ALEC do that affects your life, that affects somebody else's life? Just, you know, just taking it that step further to do that investigation, because like he said, we have the phone, we can look up all that information, because that in itself will start to break down some other structural perimeters that have been made.
Thank you so much for that comment. Yeah, Chase Bank, you know, family Chase got its money from slave selling. So yeah, thank you so much. There's a hand here and then the hand in the back. So we'll go with the first hand.
I really like the focus on the consumer's buying power when it comes to systems of oppression. It reminds me a lot of the misrepresentation campaign, which is sort of a group on Facebook where they spam companies for having sexist advertising. And I think with this, it needs to have a similar movement, but I'm wondering, people always say it's a joke, it's just a dance, it's just a video, and they don't understand that them clicking the YouTube video, buying the product, that they have buying power. So I'm wondering, how do we change the minds of our peers so that consumers realize that they do have the power to decide what is produced?
Any of the presenters? And,
I feel like I like somebody else. Well, Alright, so I'm gonna push back a little bit, is that okay? Because I think it's powerful to be a conscientious consumer, right? But I also think that this is bigger than individual consumer choices. And I think there's a ton of privilege in talking about not going to Denny's, or not, maybe not Denny's so much, but not going to Cub Foods. Well, where the hell are you gonna go? Right? Because we can't, the North Side don't got no co-op. I live on the North Side, I gotta shop at Cub. I'm a teacher, right? And I'm not even a union teacher, so they don't pay me nothing. Right? So, and I got 3 people in my house I gotta feed. I'm gonna shop at Cub, I'm sorry, right? Now I can make decisions like I don't go to Walmart. That's a decision I can economically make, right? I don't shop at McDonald's, I don't need the dollar menu. But if I lose my job, your boy's gonna be in the drive-thru at McDonald's. So I think it's bigger than that is my point, right? Not to say that we shouldn't organize those types of things, but I think we also have to have a wider scope when we talk about that.
And just to kind of add on to the discussion on white privilege, because I think this is the foundation. And well, before you get to white privilege, which is the benefit, we have white supremacy, which starts in the mind of certain people, and then it plays itself out through white domination. And then the benefit, the equal, the equal is white privilege. And so we have to know the white supremacy and the white domination equaling the white privilege, which a lot of people like to talk about the privilege, but not about the mentality or the action that got us there. Yes, there's a hand in the back. And then I see a hand and then a hand.
Hi, my name is Michael. What Don said as far as the Harlem Shake and how it offended Harlem, I totally understand that because it is originally, their style. So I would definitely go with like copywriting and just totally taking it from them. It's a lot, relatable to like, Elvis taking away, the flamboyance of Little Richard and Chuck Berry, and he's called the king of rock and roll. But to that note, since one of the things we're talking about like is the integrity of hip hop, is if we're going to talk about the Harlem Shake, I think that we can't only just talk about something that white people had spurred it up. Considering me being a half black, half white male, I think it has to go a little bit deeper than that, and we have to also challenge ourselves within the hip hop community. I know that's been going a lot, probably a lot of panel discussions, everything like that. I mean, when you have like, and I guess I have a question for like DJ Francisco, but when you have like songs like, I remember when I was in high school, there was a song called Chicken Noodle Soup by DJ Webstar, which was a huge, hit, but it faded out and fizzled and not a lot of people remember about it, like so. So, is there anything else that you guys plan on doing? Because the thing about it is, if we have songs like that, and songs like Soulja Boy, telling Superman that ho, the thing about it is that white people are not going to take us serious if we can't have the courage to go against ourselves and question our material that we're putting out there. If you guys would like to comment on that.
Okay, Don and Daniel, if you would like to talk about the journal and how that's, addressing, but I saw Don's hand first, so Don?
I think you have a good point that we have to hold each other accountable. Like recently, Lil Wayne released this, I forgot the name of the song, where he talks about beating the woman's vagina up like Emmett Till, right? And so people were up in arms, like, how can you say that and talk about Emmett Till? Okay, and that's one thing, okay, he shouldn't have talked about Emmett Till. And take out the line about Emmett Till, but then he can beat up the vagina any way that he likes, right? And so the discussion needs to go far beyond that, right? So is it the problem that he talked about Emmett Till, or is it the problem that the way that he objectifies and talks about women violently in his lyrics? That's never challenged, right? And so the challenges never get to that point. One of the other things that people don't understand is that there are certain boards that listen to certain songs before they're allowed to be released if they're going through commercialized label to make sure they're not talking about Jews or using certain words in a specific way. And so certain people are protected in language and stuff like that, right? And so if you talk, the next thing you talked about where we have to use our purchasing power, we do, right? But the science of marketing is used to make people want something that they don't even know that they want, right? It makes us want it, and that's what I think happens in hip hop, right? I don't like 2 Chainz, but if I'm washing the dishes, sometimes I start singing I'm different, right? And I want to go to church and pray about that, right? But like the fact that they're playing these things over and over and over, like to the point where this is what people start to think that their reality is. And if that's what you think your reality is, you see no reason to challenge it, because that's what it is, that's what is real. They're just keeping it real. And so I think people are being mentally poisoned. And if we don't teach people to be critical consumers, again, critical producers of their own culture and use these tools, I don't really see much of that changing. And so that's why I give a shout out to the teachers that's on the panel and the people who are in the school district, because that's where we need to hit people, like real early.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I would just add, you know, with that, I mean, I'm with that 100%. I think Don said it the best.